Hello everybody, Chris here, and in this video I want to show all of you another way to copy properties between clips when you want to repeat the same settings or animations between two clips or more inside of DaVinci Resolve 18. So first off, let's go ahead and change some settings on this first clip over here in the timeline. So let's select this first clip, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to expand the speed change category. I'll go down here to check ripple timeline so that when I increase the speed, it's automatically going to move clips to the right over to the left so that there's no blank space in between. And now let's change the speed from 100% to 200%, hit enter. So now our clip goes double the speed, taking half the time in the timeline, and the rippling occurs automatically. Another property we might want to change that you can copy could be the volume. So I'll click on the audio tab. And let's decrease the volume by a few decibels here, just for the sake of argument. And you can expand your bottom timeline for audio if you want to see what that will look like with your audio waveforms. And let's also do a little animation at the start where we'll zoom in, and then at the end where we'll zoom back out. So let's take the zoom at frame 0, and I'll set the value to 0, keyframe it, go about 30 frames in here, and let's set the value of the zoom to 1.0. Okay, so now between 0 and 30 frames, we'll get a little zoom in animation. Now let's go closer to the end over here, and I'm going to keyframe the zoom at value 1.0, then go to the very end and reduce the value to 0 for the zoom. So now our first clip has all of these settings. So we have the zoom in, the decrease in the volume, the zoom out, and we have the increased speed change. So we want to copy all of this over to our second video clip. It's very easy to actually do so. So I'm going to select the first clip and hit Control C. But then when we go to the second clip, we're going to do an Alt V, not a Control V, because we're not pasting the clip, but what we're pasting is the attributes. And if you right click on the second clip, you can also see the paste attributes function is right here. So pasting the attributes when you do Alt V is going to look like this, where you have a bunch of options for what you want to copy over from your first clip to your second clip. So for instance, we're going to want to check retime effects and retime sequence because we're going to be increasing the speed and reducing the amount of time it takes in the timeline. We also want audio attributes volume. Note that any plugins you put on one clip, you can copy over to another clip as well. And we want the video attributes for the zoom, including the scale X and scale Y. So let's go ahead and hit apply. And you'll see that all of the settings I just talked about are now on this second video clip. You'll notice the little speed change icon. If we go to the audio tab, you'll see that the volume has been decreased. Not that there was any volume on this clip. And we also have the animation for this video clip. So let's go to the start here and hit space, and you'll see the animation occur for the zoom in, but you don't see the zoom out animation. And the reason for that is that the zoom is based on timing on the clip, and the first clip is longer than the second one. So if I expand the little keyframes here, you'll see the ending keyframes here for the transform. But if I expand this clip, it doesn't go far enough to actually show them. If I click on the right arrow for the keyframe in the transform, then it'll go to a point in time which is past where the clip ends. So this would be the rough timing that this keyframe would actually occur in this clip. So in this case, when you're doing animation, it might be a little tricky. Some of the keyframes might be outside of the position. So I'm actually going to click on the red keyframe diamond to get rid of that extra keyframe. And then I can click the next arrow to jump to the other one. And I can undo that there. And then I would be able to reset the same settings up here at the end. So I can select these two keyframes from the first clip. So what I can actually do is go to the first keyframe, select these two values, Control C them, and then come to this clip and Control V paste them in. So you see they appear down here, and then just retime them so it occurs at the end of the clip. So we get the zoom out animation here again. So we still end up with the zoom out animation, but obviously you can tell that that little workaround takes a little extra effort. So as you can see, if you need to retime the keyframes manually like this, it can be a little bit of a pain. It's definitely doable. But another trick you can do to kind of work around that is to use an adjustment clip. So if we go to the effects window and we search in the toolbox down here for ADJ for adjustment clip, and then we drag this onto the timeline, then just make sure your adjustment clip is long enough that it can store all of the keyframes on your timeline here, so you'll be able to visibly see them. Then select your first clip where you're going to copy the animation from, Control C, then click on your adjustment clip, and I'm going to Alt V, And I'm going to paste in everything here except for the retime effects. If you use the retime speed change on the adjustment clip, it's going to be a little bit messy because the adjustment clip doesn't actually hold frames of the video animation. It just holds settings and animations that layer on top of your base. So I would uncheck retime effects and hit apply. So this is going to hold the keyframes. If we expand this, you can see the correct timings for those keyframes are right here. And so now all we would need to do to have that zoom be applied to our base clip is to move these keyframes over to where we want them. And you can see we can just snap the zoom out to the edge of our underlying clip. Then click on the underlying clip and let's reset the transform so we're not applying them twice. Now we can go here, hit space, we get the zoom in, and we get the zoom out. Now the adjustment clip can't hold audio changes. And as I was mentioning, it doesn't work with the speed change as well because there's no frames of animation to double the speed of on this adjustment clip. So you can put your animations on the adjustment clip using Control-C and then select the adjustment clip Alt-V, get all your video attribute animations in. But then for the audio changes and the speed changes, leave those on the base clip. So let's just uncheck all the video attributes and you would leave audio attributes, volume, and ripple sequence, and anything else that may not work with the adjustment clip. So it's relatively simple to just split those up. And then of course for the adjustment clip timing, since this will apply to anything under it, just change its duration to match your clip so that it only applies to this one clip under it. And then with that work, you're going to get the results you expect, having the exact same settings and animations from one clip applied to a second clip inside of DaVinci Resolve 18. So as soon as you do this a couple times, it should make perfect sense. Really just remember Control-C to copy, Alt-V to paste it in, and then consider whether you're using an adjustment clip or applying it to the base video clip. So I've been Chris. I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you want to know more about adjustment clips, check out my other video on that subject. And I will see all of you in my future video content.